Alright, hey, hope everyone's doing well today. This is the official promo video for the Touch Metal educational board. Just wanted to show you briefly what it's all about. So when you get it, if you order one, you get the following items. So there's a USB-C cable which has this ferrite bead on the end, which is important for noise reduction. The desiccant pack that you do not want to eat. Touch Metal board itself, a programming card. If you ordered it, it's an optional add-on, the instruction manual, and then you get a welcome letter just describing what you just purchased, and it's got the serial number on the back and all of the usual stuff. So you can plug it into a computer or a power brick or a portable power source. So I'm just going to plug it into a little battery pack here. Alright, and so here's a better view of the board itself. So I've applied power. It's got a tiny little display. Your board may come with this little screen protector that you can just peel off to see the screen better. And it displays a bunch of information on the board by default. So it shows you the contents of the input register, which you can change by pressing these buttons 0 through 7. Program counter is where the program is executing. Here's the state of the processor flags. The stack pointer, contents of the output register, and the contents of memory location. So memory location 0 has a 0, and it disassembles these numbers for you, so you can see this is the instruction no op. So we can examine memory locations by pressing the examine button, and it shows me successive locations. I could choose to take a number like 100 and deposit it into a memory location, and when you deposit, it also increases, so I can rapidly fill my memory with values. I can single step the processor, so execute one instruction, my program counter goes up. I can free run it, and it will just start executing all the instructions, which are mostly no ops at this point. I can hit a reset button to send the PC back to 0 and clear out the other registers. I can trigger an external interrupt using the interrupt button if interrupts are enabled. And if I don't want to read this very small display, I can hit this display mode button and cycle through 3 larger displays that show the same information as on this original display. Another feature of the board is that if you hold a button while you apply power, it will boot up with an option to load sample programs. So I can say, okay, let's load a sample program. Let's load sample program 2. And so now you got something other than no ops. I can actually look and I can examine this program, and I can see there's a load immediate instruction, there's an output instruction, another load immediate, an increment, and so on and so forth. And if I run this program in particular, this is just a prime number generator, so it's outputting numbers in octal 2, 3, 5, 7, and then 13 will be the number 11, and so on and so forth. And so this is the basic setup for the board. So you can load programs into memory, examine them. You can single step through for debugging. You can go to special registers like 400 to examine the contents of your general purpose registers, as well as tinkering with the PC, the processor status word, the stack itself, and so on. On the back of the board, there's a handy little table that tells you a summary of the different instructions, the special addresses for getting to registers, and so on and so forth. Alright, and so that's basically the Touch Metal board. If you go to zarasawa.org, that's the front page for the business. You can find links to purchase this on Lectrons or on Tindy. There's a bit of stock available on both sites. You can also find a link to the Touch Metal board page itself, and if you go under resources, you'll find links for purchasing, a link to the Hackaday page, source code, build files, all of that, some videos on YouTube. You can also get to a downloadable instruction manual. If you don't want to get a physical copy of this, you can read it online, and this goes through all of the details of the board itself, what the different buttons do, and so on and so forth, as well as a little bit of programming. I've also created recently a draft of a book of practice problems, and this one is much more intended for people who want to sort of learn the low-level details of assembly language and so on. This goes through the coding of instructions, the idea of storing assembly language instructions in memory, what they do. It's got lots of sample code, and it's intended to be exercise based, so as you go through the book you'll find various exercises to try. There's over 150 of these throughout the book, and it takes you through all of the things that you read about in here, so it's a very sort of interactive, hands-on learning approach. You get a quick reference card when you get a board, but if you want to print your own, you can get a copy of it here, and it's got the basic instruction set spelled out with the opcodes and the flags that are affected and so on. It's also got a synopsis of what the different buttons do, the special locations you can examine, a handy octal conversion table, and so there's a ton of resources available here. An assembler if you get tired of assembling by hand, and also if you don't have a physical board but you want to try this out, there's an emulator on here, so you can point and click instead of actually touching the hardware and hitting physical buttons, but you can do this to get an idea of what the board's all about. Alright, that's basically it. Unboxing video, promotional video, there you go. Let me know if you got any questions. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.